Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Ingerman, and welcome to the Shamans Cave.
And I'm Renee Baribeau, and we are really happy to be here with you today because we both know that support and community support is really the key to being in these really tricky times. So our next two shows are really about, the first show is about self-acceptance, and then we're going to do a part two sort of about how to navigate these turbulent, I call them turbulent winds, but these tricky times that we're in. And so stay with us for both shows. And then let's get on to the subject, because this has been a really rough week for me, because people that I know are the most deeply spiritual, in touch people are having some of the hardest times right now coping.
Yeah. Well, if people have been following our shows, I I have been talking about a course that I started teaching on the dark night of the soul. And the reason I decided to teach this course is basically because I feel through the initiations I've been going through for my entire life, I've just been walking back and forth through the dark night of the soul. And I feel like I really found a roadmap and a compass. And so what's happening right now with healers and people who are really spiritual is so much ends up coming up. Number one, when you enter into the dark night of the soul, which I call what Renee's colleagues and healer friends are going through right now, I call it the dark night of the soul. One of the first things that, the first thing that happens is your spirit stops speaking to you. And so that actually leads people to feeling a place of hopelessness, that they've been abandoned and lost faith. And so a big part of the dark night of the soul is dealing with a loss of faith and that betrayal, emotional exhaustion. And so one of the things that really helps, there are many tools, and I'm sharing 9 weeks of tools, so that's a lot more than I can share right now. But one of the tools is really understanding that the purpose of the dark night of the soul is to get you into your inner world, your inner landscape, and to start having conversations with your soul and your spirit, because it's your soul and spirit that carry you through and know the guidance. And so what happens with healers that I'm watching right now, who are going down big time, having mental breaks and manifesting that on many different levels, is they're still in their ego, and their ego is fighting the transformation. And so when we truly learn that the creator, and we've done shows on this, that the creator loves us. We did a journey, a powerful journey on how much the love went into your creation when you were created by the creative forces of the universe. How much love, unconditional love. And when you get that, and if you're really doing your spiritual work and you get that you're a reflection of the creator, if you were created from love, you're basically insulting all of life. You're insulting the creator. You're insulting everything in nature. Everything in nature that was born from love and wants to reach out to you and wants to accept you too. So it is a big issue to look at self-love and self-acceptance during this time because it's one of the greatest tools we have. Sorry for
Yes.
going on
No,
so
I was just thinking I should be jotting down notes because there's so many different things, but I was like intently listening, which is really a good thing. You know, there's so much finger pointing going on out there. So like they did and they did and they did. And you know, for me, it's just like when we say they, it's like turn the finger and point it back to yourself. It's something I learned in AA. It's like, you know, if there's one finger going out, there's five pointing back at you. And, you know, even if, so saying what Sandra's too is that we're insulting creation when we say that we're not part of this magical dance. And by the way, I'm teaching a class on creation in September, the 5 dynamic winds of creation. So you might want to check that out. And also you can still hop onto Sandra's Dark Night of the Soul and catch up, or not catch up, but, you know, be a couple of weeks behind. And you might need these kind of extra special tools right now. And if you're out there saying, what's the use? You know, they're fighting, there's all of this, you know, phone rays coming at us, whatever, that 5G stuff and all of this other stuff, and you're really out there with your fists up fighting, that's okay too. Not if you're fighting yourself fighting it though. You know, you have to say, okay, yeah, I'm really caught up in all this crap that I'm hearing, and that's just where I'm at today. And you know what, when I just said that, it's like, phew, all of the stuff, that fight even falls away when you just say, yeah, I'm just being a silly human out here with my ego thinking that I'm really making a difference. And I also believe that we made a choice to be here right now. We made a choice in some level of our spiritual development along the way. We made a conscious choice to be here at this time that I call the wobble, when we're ending the Holocene, moving into the next, you know, the next scene, which could be the Anthropocene, which is, you know, we're here. And, you know, and it's a 250 year or so process, and we've all decided to be here now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the teachings that we've all been, I think every spiritual teacher has been saying this since the beginning of our work, is you chose here. You were a little soul looking up. And my husband is so cute. He's always saying, the next time you're given a choice, what word do you say?
Yes. I always say yes.
But, you know, it's really interesting because there is that destiny thing. We did choose. We absolutely chose. And to a spirit, you know, who doesn't have a body and everything, oh yeah, starvation, war, COVID, fighting, politics, torture. Oh, that sounds good. I mean, there's no body, there's no sense. And so, you know, but what the, you know, from you know, some of the different, I still read a lot of the biblical texts, and it's like, yeah, we were looking for a role, you know, we were looking for that play, you know, we were looking for a role to take on while we were here, and then when we leave, that role's gone.
Right.
You know, it's gone. You know, so. And part of the self-acceptance, I think, too, is recognizing that you did choose to be here and that you are playing a role. And if it's a role, as Renee was just saying, you want to be out there being an activist and fighting, that is definitely a role. Everything is a role. And then there's people who are feeling the need to go inner. And it's all right. The thing that makes it not right is when you start saying, I should be doing something different. I should. And that's not self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is, I feel in my power. I feel like I can make my greatest contribution, even if it's getting healthy myself. That's an incredible contribution to the collective. But what is your soul calling you to? And that will bring you self-acceptance.
Absolutely. Right before we got on our podcast, I was talking to a friend who is ill right now. And I said, maybe, just maybe, you're supposed to say, okay, and stop fighting with this and say, all right, I surrender. I surrender is such an important concept because, and it doesn't mean you're going to get your way every time. I literally thought I was going to get to go up to Whidbey Island this fall and write my next book. And Spirit said, no, 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 no. You've been training for this time, Renee, like 30 years. And now you think you could just go hide away on an island? No, we need you in the collective right now, showing up. And it seems to be that I'm going to be working with more mental health and addiction issues. And, I'd rather be having the muse and writing the next book and sitting there looking over the passage and ask yourself, what have I been training for? What have I been doing all of this work for? And then when you can do that, then you can even start to show up. And we think that we can be of so much service to everyone else. And yet we're very often, we would treat a patient on the table one way, and then we treat ourselves like, let me get out the whipping cane and beat myself because I'm human. It's just the people who are struggling the hardest right now that I know are some of the people who have made the greatest contributions in the last 20 and 30 years to this collective awakening that we're all part of. And, that's why are they struggling so much?
Well, there's it's really tricky when we're in an egoic place because those of us who are called to a spiritual path tend to be empaths. We did a show on that. And so things are so out of control right now. It's like we're being challenged as healers of, we can't save anybody. We cannot save anybody. The dissolution is too in process. And as I keep sharing, the dissolution is part of nature. So we got to stop trying to stop the dissolution process. All the people trying to stop what's happening, we're in a natural process. We have to see it to the end until that rebirth comes out. And so it is heartbreaking to watch all the people suffering when you feel that you have tools that could help them, and you feel powerless right now because you can't lift people up. You can't lift people up. They have to find that place inside of themselves. That's what history has taught us. It's only the people who can find that strong place inside of themselves that survives the really turbulent times. Otherwise, there's not enough spirit there. And if there's not enough spirit, the ego, you can't ride the turbulent waves with ego. You got to ride them with spirit. So you got to enliven your spirit, and everybody does. And we have to stop trying to save people and push them to the edge where their spirit wakes up so that they can survive. there's, I work with the Crowley deck and the Tarot, and my teacher was Angeles Arian, and I know she had a very different way of looking at the Tarot, and some of my students don't always agree, but I've been working for 40 years with her interpretations, and she works with symbols. And there's a card in the Tarot that I pick all the time. And it's tragic to look at. It's the Nine of Swords, and it's cruelty. And the card is self-cruelty. And the image on the card is you sticking knives into your body while your spirit is crying, "Why are you doing this to me?"
Mm.
It's a very powerful, it's a very
That's a
powerful.
really powerful card. The times in my life when I've chosen it has been when I've been in my biggest self-pity moments, and like, oh, woe is me. And really, if we start to have gratitude, and for just the fact that you woke up today and took a breath, that you probably might have food on your available to you, and those simple things, instead of what we don't have in this moment. And it's really what I was seeing when you were talking, Sandra, was this: if you take everything right now that you think you can control and put it in your hand, and when you're making sand castles at the beach, all of that sand is just dripping through, because really the only thing that I think that we have any control over right now is how we show up for our own experience and our own self. And I just got reminded a couple weeks ago, my friend said, "Why are you being so mean to yourself?" And it was just like, I was, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I really am being mean to myself. I think I'll stop that." Right now, I'm going to stop that. And people know, I mean, it doesn't always last that way, but it just did in that moment. Were we going to did you have a little exercise for this that we could do?
Yeah. What I was thinking is, because we've gone on talking, and so I'm thinking of something we could do short that doesn't need a lot of explanation. So we did do a journey once to the Creator, to ask to be shown how much love went into your creation. And if you would like to try that, if you never tried that, just hold the intention to meet your Creator or the creative forces of the universe, and feel the love that went into your creation, and meet that love. Reach for that love. Reach your love to the Creator's love. Okay, so there has to be enough love to be able to touch the Creator's love. Or if you're in love with an element, I've been teaching about falling in love with the elements. I believe the elements are actually the creator of the universe, of the planet. And so pick an element that you're in love with, and ask that element to show its love for you. But you have to have enough love for yourself to be able to touch that element's love. So in whoever you decide to feel the unconditional love of, you have to find that same love inside of yourself, or you will not be able to experience the love coming back to you. You have to send that much love out for yourself. Okay, are you ready to give this a go and try it?
I am.
It's really interesting to do this, to realize that there's so much in life that's reaching to us in love, but we don't reach in love back to them because we don't love ourselves. And that is an insult to all of creation. So let's fix that. Here we go. So if you're having a hard time doing this because you haven't done it before, just imagine yourself being in a beautiful place in nature, doing this with an element or the creator. So thank the creator, thank the element that you're sharing love with, love for the element, love for yourself. And say it's time for you to go now, but you will be back to do deeper work. Because imagine a planet where everybody actually loved themselves. Then we could love all of life as our soul and our spirit and the creator intended. So walk back to the room that you're journeying in. Feel yourself grounded. Hopefully you feel a nice, beautiful, light-filled energy pulsating through all your cells. And open your eyes. Our work is done for now. Welcome back, everyone. So, you know, when we do these things, we're trying to fit them into a timeline, and sometimes we, both Renee and I, pick very deep topics to do a 3-minute journey to. So, you know, we're planting seeds of work to do on your own. So do more of this work and do it out in nature, and you'll start feeling really good about yourself.
Speaking of planting seeds, did you see that great article was shared over at the Shamans Cave the other day about the seed bank person who had to abandon their house with a fire, and they had a basket full of seeds, and the seeds that they took with them were reminders of all of the people that they had met and got the seeds from and all of that. So maybe track in your own life what seeds have brought you to this moment. Who have you met? Who have your life touched? And how can those seeds now grow corn for you and as time and grow corn for your neighbors?
And if you find yourself reflecting on seeds that, you know, they never should have been planted, and they didn't actually grow, and they didn't bring anything into my garden, do a ceremony to sweep those seeds out of your space, to give room for the new seeds.
Love that. So Sandra, do you have another course coming up with Sounds True? Did you want to let people know about that?
Yeah, a really long time ago, I think it was in 2009, I really wanted to film a live workshop, a beginning workshop on shamanic journeying, where you could see us singing and dancing, and how I actually physically performed a healing on a person, and how people worked in pairs together so that you can enter into our circle and do the course with us. We knew it was going to be a course online, so every single session before we began, it was a weekend workshop. I called in all of you that would be signing up for the course sometime in the future. So you were always included in the course. So it's actually been for sale on my website as a course that you could buy at any point, but Sounds True is reintroducing it. And I'm going to do 2 live Q&A ceremonies for that. And so there'll be an email going out, and it'll be in my monthly column, and I'll post something on the Shamans Cave about it too, so that you have the link if you're interested in it.
Awesome. And on September 19th, I will be doing an all-day, I call them hybrid nature-informed retreats, where during part of the day, you actually go outside and do something in nature that's going to be about the wind dynamics of creation or creativity. And this is work that I've shared as part of my courses before, but never as a whole day course. So we're going to actually do a deep dive into each of the 5 dynamic winds. And you'll learn that how you create tends to be how you create over and over again. And that may or may not be working for you. And maybe it's time to borrow from another dynamic in order to those seeds you planted, they can get pollinated and germinated and really grow for you in the coming days. So both of those will be over at Shamans TV as well. And join us over at the Shamans Cave. And also, you know, an active service you could do is to share this from your YouTube or from the shamanstv.com, and really invite other people into this bigger circle that Sandra and I are creating.
Yeah, we continue through the Shamans Cave email to just get so much love from all of you, and so much gratitude. And so it's because we love you, and we want to see you ride the waves and keep your sanity and keep your health and stay with us, because we believe we know how to do it.
And I think we've been in the up and down of it. And hopefully we'll see you next week, where we're going to talk a little bit about how to stay happy or positive during unhappy, unpositive times. All right, we'll see you soon. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. Blessings, everyone.